Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today is another LEGO Top 10 MOCs of the Week episode where we show you the creations of the coolest LEGO builds we've seen people making throughout the week. Now before I get into that, I gotta say there was a really special build that we showcased this week last Friday from the talented builder Dave Slater. There is the 1989 Batmobile. It features basically every single thing that you could have ever seen from the films, and it's not technically part of our top 10 of the week, but I definitely think you guys should go check out that video linked in the description below, as well as links for all of the different builders that we feature in this episode. Also, if you want to have your build featured at the end of the episode, please do check out the description below for the proper email to send pictures of your own LEGO MOCs. And let's get started with the very first one. This is called Comet Kingdom by the builder Koen. There's plenty of fun details that this guy included. Personally, I think the craters in the comet were a nice touch. The color choice for the actual castle itself with the dark red combined with the tan looks great, and I think this is a wonderful example of not needing too many LEGO parts in order to create a really fun little universe. Now for this next build, I believe it was a collaborative effort between Dario Minisini and soccersnyderi. I've included both the Flickr links in the description below, and there is indeed a tutorial on how to put together those ridiculously detailed roofs. If you can't quite tell from far away, when looking up close, one of those thatched roofs is made completely out of different shovels. You can see it was kind of hard to get them all to line up perfectly even, and in fact when you look at it, I don't think they are supposed to be perfectly even. And then the other roof is made out of capes, and if you look at all of the different buildings from this Memories of LEGO, that's the title of this, you can see I think a different technique used for all the different buildings involved. Really fun to see great little things put together with brand new ideas, even though we've all seen thatched roofs before. I just love seeing new techniques, something that I've never seen before built into a familiar looking setting. Now for this next build, we have a micro scale Sophia. That's the name of this particular mosque, I believe now a museum in Istanbul. And when it comes to micro building, there's always fun little connections to see here if you look closely, which of course you're sort of encouraged to do at this scale. First off, the color coordination is great. I love the use of a lot of the undersides of LEGO pieces used to create the detailing. I think that was a really good choice, and there's some very fun creative uses of parts here. I like Bemo's arms. Those are the hot dog pieces molded in blue to make up the roof. I can definitely see another blue seashell, and Geonosian droid legs turned back to make up just a little bit of extra detailing around one of the arches. Rocco Bottliere really did use a lot of fun special connections with some very interesting pieces. And then moving on to our next build, after having seen this, I wonder why I haven't seen something done like this before. Maybe a build like this has already been done, I just haven't found it, but the idea here is so simple and so awesome. This is Inside a Pokeball by Grant Davis. Detailed interiors are always some of my favorite kinds of builds, and this creative twist really drew me over. The white and red rim that makes up the sort of cross section of the Pokeball is great. In fact, that building technique is kind of similar to the panel plating technique that we have for the blockade runner head. I'm not entirely sure how he got all of what I think are just little 1x1 or probably 1x2 plate tan pieces that makes up the layering for the wall. It does look circular, but maybe at this angle those are actually flat little pieces that kind of match up in sort of a funny angle. I'm not totally sure how that works. And just look at all the detailing, all the little things up on the top of the roof, a hanging light, TV, small plant, everything. Pikachu really does have things decked out in here, and it makes me wonder if it was this nice inside the Pokeball, how come he never wanted to go inside? Now moving on to the next build, I would say boats are almost on the same level as trains to a certain extent. There's just always people going to be making model boats and model trains, and subsequently very detailed versions of them in LEGO. This one is no different in terms of just being a wonderful little creation. It's called Chris Craft 1940 Barrelback by Markus Ronge. Now what makes this build just a little bit different, honestly the thing that really grabbed me though is the way it's displayed in its stand, and there's just something so wonderful about how that water was put together with the crisscrossing slope pieces. I haven't seen choppy waves look quite like that before in LEGO, and then he chose to totally disconnect when you see the white water splashing up and have it being totally studded out. That adds for a wonderful bubbly effect, and then just a little bit of those trans dish pieces and things kind of outside the display, showing a little bit of splashed water. It really is a wonderful little piece. And then I wish Markus Rollbuhler had more than one angle or a series of pictures for this build. This is just simply called Alice in Wonderland the Caterpillar, in case you couldn't tell where this came from. This was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid, and I have seen one or two pretty darn good looking MOCs of this scene recreated in LEGO once before, but I have to say the atmosphere of this model probably grabs me the most. The build for the mushroom is great. I think the underside of those little ribs on that mushroom are made of tusk pieces, and then the dandelion's probably my favorite. Sorry, is that a dandelion? I don't really know flower names. The yellow flower has such an interesting build. Those are mixer pieces attached to those little shoulder rubber pieces that you got on those bots from the Nexonite series. You just got a ton of those little shoulder pieces and made an excellent looking build for an enlarged flower. And of course the size of the build is great, sort of chosen for minifig scale. The build for the caterpillar is awesome. Anyways, some really creative stuff behind the scenes for this one. And then this next build is called Sandyman's Mill by Patrick B. According to the description, this is part of the Shire, or you can see it in the Shire at some point. Personally, I don't have any recollection of this area within the Tolkien universe, but dang, is this a good looking build. First off, here's another new build for water, second new type of build style for water that I've seen just from this episode, and it absolutely gives you the impression that they live in a very clean, very sort of pristine nature area, crystal clear water. Another great building technique that make up the roofs, I believe it's mostly made of cheese wedge pieces. You can actually kind of see the style along the edge. And then once again, like the Eye of Sophia, there is a great use, at least one single great use of the undersides of studs being used that make up the detailing on the door. That nice bright blue door adds just a fun little kick in the middle of the build. And by the way, check out the description in below if I haven't said it already, because this week I don't know why, but there's like 20 different builders linked below, not just the top 10 that I'm showing you from this episode. Now for this next build, apologies if I don't say his or her name right. This is Toon Dr. Mahathir and Toon Dr. Siti Hazma. The builder is Vincent Q, and this is the oldest prime minister in the world, 92 years old prime minister of Malaysia. Honestly, the characters for me, I mean, I don't really know anything about these characters. What really just drew me is the build style that makes them up. Having familiarized myself with many MOC builders over the years, I've kind of come to recognize specific types of build styles. Like if I see a character that looks like a certain shape, I can kind of tell, or I have an idea of who might have built them. And this is a brand new build style where Vincent Q, this is somebody who I haven't known about until now, and he's got a really, really interesting way of putting people together, and I just absolutely love it. I highly recommend that you check out what else he can do, because there's a lot of really fun things on his Flickr feed. And then Eero Okkonen has created another amazing LEGO figure to stay in the same theme. This is called Do-It-Yourself-Seraph, and it is based on the cyborg angel from Magic the Gathering. This too, I am not totally familiar with. I mean, I remember the card game back from when I was growing up, but like any great building, you don't really have to know much about what it's originally based on. If it's a good build and you like it, then that's all there is to it, and that is definitely the case with this figure. Great stance, awesome detailing for armor. I really like the way the joint was put together right by the elbow, and the fact that a good portion of the arms are just made up of wheel rims. I think I can see maybe just one part that has come from a Bionicle set, and then maybe some armor pieces that came from Phasma from the Star Wars buildable figs, but mostly this is system bricks. And of course, the windswept hair is definitely an excellent touch. All right. Now the last build of the week is Viking Attack by Brickstons Group. And when you see the size of this MOC, yeah, that totally makes sense that a group of people put something this big together, because it's an absolutely massive MOC. And no, things don't always get put at the top of the top 10 list just because they're big. This big build did not break sort of the cardinal rule that a lot of big MOCs sometimes do, which is not a lot of great details when you look really close, but that's not the case for this. There's a bunch of wonderful scenes set all throughout this amazing universe. I love the archways used on the larger castle, the red and white layers. I think those are maybe aqueducts. Not sure if they're built on the traditional Roman style like they were so many thousand years ago. The build for the sea looks wonderful. I like that little inlet that has the small bridge. And oh yeah, they decided to include Vikings all the way in here, which is great. You don't usually see Vikings clashing with a universe that's very desert-like like this. I just haven't seen a scene set up like this before. And I would love to see maybe what happens 2 or 3 or 4 minutes later when the actual Viking siege begins, set up in the same universe of this MOC. I feel like there could be some really cool things put together as well. And all right, with that, we've hit the top 10 MOCs of the week. I do highly encourage you guys to go check out the description. Remember remember Dave Slater's Batmobile episode is out. It's a really, really cool build. There are, I think, over 20 different linked Lego builders in the description below from all the favorite things that I saw this week. And now it is time for the Fan MOC creations, all the stuff that you guys sent us from the last week. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. If you want to send in your own stuff, remember to check out the description, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault. Oh, hey everybody, hope you enjoyed that video. I just wanted to pop in really quick and say that we do have a web store, brickvault.toys, that sell instructions for super high quality MOCs that are built by incredibly talented designers. So that is the first link in the description below. And also there's other videos too. We've got other things if you want to watch that. All right, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.